What is up, gamers on a budget? Today we're stepping back from looking at specific, cheap, and overlooked hardware to briefly look at my system. Not as a flex or anything, rather because I'm going to put myself in a position many of you find yourselves, wanting some solid upgrades but with a limited budget. And in my case, meaningful upgrades don't come super cheap, with an RX 6800 and an 11th gen i9 already sitting in my rig. So let's get cracking and see how this goes. Here I am just leaving my bank, having made a withdrawal of these here 100 US Freedom Bucks, and I am determined to turn this into at least a 6950 XT and some sort of like 13th gen i7 if I can. But to do that means one of two things: either hitting the casino and getting extremely lucky, or flipping up used hardware, and I'm choosing the latter. For this, I am determined to use next to zero brand new hardware, while turning as much e-waste as possible into gaming hardware. This is now, without a doubt, going to be an interesting ride. You have already seen a cameo for how this thing starts, back in my first WX3100 video. This compact, I think 6300 something or other half-height desktop was picked up expressly for this challenge, and it was a steal. Courtesy of a sniped auction, I got this lovely machine, complete with an i5 3470, 16 gigs of dual channel RAM, a 512 gig SSD, gigabyte Aorus Wi-Fi card, and the crown jewel a low-profile 1050 Ti. The only caveat was I had to take the seller's word for it that it all worked. But for the sniped price of $34, delivered to my door no less, I was willing to take that gamble. And beautifully, everything seems to work straight out of the box. From a local Goodwill then, I snagged this monitor for $10, which works and appears to be an LED backlight rather than the older CCFL designs. Then across town, I completed it with a $2 DisplayPort cable that looks fairly new. But there is an issue with this setup. Even at the price point I'm aiming for, the i5 3470 with its measly 4 cores and 4 threads isn't a huge selling point. Everyone wants an i7 with the extra threads. Enter this then, the $18 Xeon E3 1240 V2, an enterprise-grade Ivy Bridge chip that is near enough as makes no difference the twin to the much more expensive i7 3770. Dropping it into the system, it boots right up with no BIOS modifications, and the difference in Cinebench is already massive. I'll throw up some quick gaming benchmark before and afters, but pay special attention to the 1% lows. Unfortunately now it's not all roses, with the extra CPU power adding some complications. Take a look here. Now ignore the thermals, it does whatever this is regardless of the temperatures, and I assume it's due to the anemic power supply, but all is not lost. I have an idea, although it is one that's gonna get me shouted at in the comments. Now I know, it is a low-end GPU, but this is a low-end build and it's not as bad as it may seem. First, I overclocked the balls off this card, which is a thing you can actually do, though it's more difficult than just adjusting sliders in Afterburner. All said, I'm pushing the core frequency to 1325 MHz with the memory all the way up to 1700 MHz, while giving the whole thing a sizable undervolt. In addition, the Dell monitor this is all getting packaged with is only a 1600 by 900 60Hz panel. For flipping purposes, it also has the advantage of staying under budget, bringing our total build cost to $95 with spare parts left over. Except it doesn't, because the low-profile 1050 Ti is worth nearly that much on its own. And I know that because, as I record this, I've already sold it for $75, which brings our net build cost down to $20. All I have to do now is sell this for over a Jackson and it's all profit. To round it out then and ensure that profit, I scooped up this Redragon RGB keyboard for $5. And a combo of this mechanical Redragon keyboard, which I'm keeping for myself, and Legion RGB mouse for free. Apparently they were a gift from the guy's ex-girlfriend and he just wanted them gone. So now if you're keeping track, this is an entire esports gaming setup with an out-the-door cost of 25 USD. Some quick final form benchmarks will go up on screen here, and then all that's left to do is clean it, stage it, photograph it, and list it. Because there are now $75 back in the budget, I also started looking forward and swiped this Corsair RM750X from a kid at the local college for $20. However, because this is an awesome unit, it's going to have to get cached for the future and just wait its turn. A ho-hum pickup you've also already seen on this channel was this GTX 750 Ti, complete with a failing fan for $30, which conveniently lets me put to use this free, albeit dead, GTX 980. For another Jackson, I picked up this aging beauty of a workstation, an HP Z400, arguably the best of the X58 workstations. It came with, I think, a Xeon W3550, which is a lot underwhelming these days, but is still a good thing because it means it came with the upgraded CPU cooler. There's also supposed to be an oddball 20GB, I guess, of RAM in here, a 1TB Samsung SSD, some NVIDIA e-waste of a display adapter, and a whole heap of FPS boosting dust. The best part though may be that it has one of these, a PCIe power cable connected to a real power supply. These are my absolute favorite X58 workstations to use, and we'll get into why the next time around, but for now I have a whole lot of cleaning to do and a PC listed for sale, so wish me luck. With that, thank you all for watching, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next one.